This Sunday, the first pay-per-view with a full live crowd since the pandemic started finally takes place. And no matter how mediocre most of the build has been, the mere presence of actual fans already makes Money in the Bank the most anticipated WWE event of the year so far. So, without further ado, these are my predictions for the 6 announced matches. Let's start with the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. First, I'll go through the participants with the least chances of winning. Zelina and Vega just made her return and was immediately pinned. So that should be enough to tell you what her spot on the card is. Naomi is a star I love to see back in the title scene, but WWE have made it clear they have no interest in pushing her. Natalya, who is one half of the current tag team champions, but doesn't feel like World Championship material at the moment. And Asuka, who I don't expect to be near the title scene anytime soon after being a key component of it for almost a whole year. Then we have the Dark Horses of Liv Morgan, who is in an interesting story with Sonya Deville that still has legs, despite being made to look like a chump last week. And Nikki Ash, whose superhero gimmick I'm not a huge fan of, but has actually gotten her a number of wins over the past month. But there's a clear favorite so far, and is my least favorite pick of the bunch. Think Alexa Bliss is a character WWE see a ton of potential in, and they've pushed her above and beyond many people's liking. So it wouldn't come as a surprise to see WWE push her back to the title scene with another Money in the Bank contract. However, there's still one spot available on the encounter. And while I don't think someone like the recently called up Toni Storm, Shotzi and Nox will win, I won't completely disregard them. Sonya Deville putting herself in the match and stealing the win is not out of the realm of possibility, but I'm gonna stick with Alexa as much as I hate it. Later on, AJ Styles and Omos face the Viking Raiders for the Raw Tag Team titles. In spite of a mostly lackluster tag division, this feud has actually been quite decent for the most part. Both sides have cut serviceable promos, and aside from a few matches, they even kept apart well enough, so the upcoming title match actually feels quite fresh. The Viking Raiders are a great tag team, and are perfect short-term challengers for AJ and Omos. However, it's clear the big program to look forward to is AJ and Omos vs RK Bro, so it's pretty obvious the champs are retaining. Next we have Rhea Ripley vs Charlotte Flair for the Raw Women's title. This has been a bad story with terrible booking all over the place, either on TV or on pay-per-view. Aside from a good match at Backlash, Rhea's title reign has been a flop. They've completely missed the point of what made her a top star down in NXT. The women's division is in serious need of a complete overhaul. And as much as I want to see Rhea succeed on the main roster, Charlotte is one of the few women that gets some decent booking. So it would probably be an improvement to give her the belt. After that, Roman Reigns takes on Edge for the Universal title. By now, it has been well established that the Tribal Chief storyline is the best thing going on the main roster, and it's not even close. However, the past month, while still good, has been kind of shaky with both on-screen decisions and real-life happenings hurting the story just a bit. Case in point, Edge got a title shot on his return despite the fact the last time we saw him, he was beaten and stacked on the main event of WrestleMania. And that's the main reason I think it's very unlikely he'll win. Maybe if he had spent the past 3 months rebuilding himself on TV, I could see him become champion in front of the first live crowd. But as it stands, Roman's reign must continue. Following that, Bobby Lashley and Kofi Kingston fight for the WWE title. Lashley's title reign has been a mixed bag, with excellent title matches hurt by questionable booking choices. However, in a surprising turn of events, his upcoming title defense just might be his best one, with both men plus MVP and Xavier Woods creating the most effective storyline going into this Sunday's event. The way they've successfully mixed real-life events surrounding 2019's Kofi Mania and everything that came afterwards has been a treat to watch, with top-notch promos from everyone involved. Now the question is, will WWE actually pull the trigger on another Kofi Kingston World title reign? Under normal circumstances, I'd probably say no, but since this is the first show with fans back, I actually think there's a realistic chance of Kofi regaining the belt to generate a massive pop. So I'm actually going with a surprise Kofi title win. And finally, we have the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. First, I'll take out those with low or non-existent chances of winning. Ricochet is clearly in this match because of his high-flying style and not because he can actually win. Similarly, John Morrison excels in stipulations like this, but his act with Miz is pretty much grounded in the mid-card, just like Shinsuke Nakamura's new King gimmick. Next we have the Dark Horses, which include the likes of Kevin Owens, who is always a reliable hand in the main event scene. Riddle, whose act has really hit its stride in the past couple of months, but is probably en route to a tag title match as RK-Bro first. And Seth Rollins, who has the most high-profile cash-in ever under his belt, but doesn't really need another one to become champion again. My two main choices include Drew McIntyre, who is the former WWE champion and has been on the title scene for practically the entirety of the year. However, Drew doesn't really need the briefcase to return to the world title scene, so I kind of expect Jinder Mahal to cost him the contract and set up a match for SummerSlam. That only leaves Big E, who has been well protected for a long while and has got the label of future world champion for most of the past decade. This is the time to pull the trigger and finally start that world title push in front of a live crowd. Do you agree with my choices? Leave a comment down below with your predictions for Money in the Bank. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me on social media at Pomi Wrestling for any update. That's all for now. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, see ya!